In an earlier session, we discussed the importance of roadblocks, or the subconscious limiting beliefs that can create the frustration of recurring failures or setbacks. Hopefully, you've practiced the imagery exercises that will help you identify the limiters in your belief system. This section on reprogramming new beliefs won't make much sense until you have worked with the exercises on overcoming roadblocks to success. Following a brief review on the tools for change, we will be providing 5 very specific and easy-to-use techniques on how to release the old limiting beliefs in the areas that you desire greater success. In other words, you will be learning how to create new mental software, new programs for success. Remember that at the core of all change is desire, expectation, and imagination. When you desire something, the key to its effectiveness is that you must desire with passion and intensity to the extent that you feel it in your gut, that so-called fire in the belly of the beast, even to the extent of feeling it in your whole body. Feel the excitement and desire, but stop short of the line of desperation or panic. Being desperate about a goal or outcome will work against you. The key to expectancy is honesty. People will say they expect one thing but don't really mean it. They really expect something else. I have seen this dozens of times in my patients who say, "I really expect this approach to help me stop smoking or lose weight," but at a deeper level, they expect another setback. The reason the FDA insists on double-blind experiments is to rule out the effect of expectations. A double-blind experiment is where neither the doctor or subjects know which group is getting the real or experimental drug and who is receiving the placebo. Expectation can influence the outcome of an experiment despite the so-called objectivity of the researcher. The key to igniting your imagination or visualization is will. Your willing or wanting something leads to an active imagination. The more powerful your will, the more active and powerful your imagination. Each is a fuel for the other and are essential ingredients in the formula of creating a happy, successful outcome. Your core beliefs in every area of your life will determine the kind of reality, happy, negative, or stagnant, that you will draw into your life. This reality, in turn, supports your belief, forming a self-perpetuating pattern. Thus, your beliefs produce life experiences, not the other way around. However, out of your experiences, you reinforce that belief. For example, one of my patients would take every opportunity she could to express her belief that all men are pigs. From that core belief, guess what kind of men she kept attracting into her life? That's right, men who supported her belief. This particular woman also had a job in which she was passed over for raises. She never got credit for some of her achievements, and she never got promoted or got ahead in her department. How did I handle this woman? The same way I'm going to ask you to look at some of the speed bumps and roadblocks in your life. I asked her, what would a person who created disappointing relationships with men have to believe in order to create abusive, unreliable men? What would a person who created an unhappy, unrewarding job have to believe about themselves in order to create an unrewarding job like that? Initially, she retreated into the victim stance. It always happens to me. It's my supervisor's fault. I had a terrible childhood. Blame, blame, blame. Around her job, she came up with the beliefs and statements such as, "It won't do any good to do a good job. No one will appreciate me anyway. You can never get ahead in this world anymore. It's not like it used to be way back when," and so on. As she kept putting her thoughts and limiting beliefs into clearer focus, she said, "Wow, when you strike the right chord, twang, you'll know you hit the right one. It hit me in the pit of my stomach. Why couldn't I have seen this before?" Most limiting core beliefs begin early in our lives. For example, I had been spending some time with friends of mine who have a high-energy, borderline hyperactive 2-year-old boy, Steve. On 2 different occasions, little Steve got quite rambunctious and knocked over his glass of milk all over the kitchen table. His mother, in an exasperated mood, said, "You're so clumsy. You're always knocking things over." Apparently, there were other similar episodes. 2 weeks later, I had occasion to return a book, and little Steve was running around the house screaming, "I'm clumsy, I'm clumsy." Now, we all know that Steve wasn't born clumsy, but he bought into his mother's exasperation and began reinforcing, through repetition, what could have become the seed for a very limiting belief: I am clumsy. But how can a simple experience like that become a core belief? Psychologists and neuroscientists have established that every person in the world carries on an ongoing inner dialogue or self-talk with themselves of between 150 to 300 words a minute. This works out to between 45,000 and 51,000 thoughts a day. You cannot go more than 11 seconds without self-talking unless you are an experienced meditator. Most of our self-talk is harmless, or thoughts that oil the wheels for everyday activities like, have to take the car in for a tire rotation. I wonder if my wife would rather go out for dinner tonight. I think I'll call her. However, what if your inner dialogue contains such self-talk as, I'll never stop being shy. Being overweight runs in the family. I'll never lose 30 pounds. What's the use in trying? Nothing ever works out the way I want it to. I can never get ahead in life, and so on. Now, we all negative self-talk a little from time to time, especially in stressful or fearful situations. So it is no big deal to express the occasional limiting belief. However, if you negative self-talk a lot, it can, and usually does through ongoing negative reinforcement, create the mental software for a particular belief and go on to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Thus, much of our happiness and unhappiness is wired into the brain's neuronal networks from earliest childhood. In other words, your beliefs, positive and negative, are literally and neuronally etched into the brain, into comfortable grooves or neural pathways along which incoming data from your senses travel, on its way to interpretation in the brain. An important distinction between your mind and your brain. Your mind is the non-physical you, the part of you that holds your dreams, your hopes, and your aspirations, your self-esteem, the mental software, so to speak. Your brain, that marvelous 3-pound gelatin-like organ, is the hardware, the transducer of energy, of intent, of will. It's what translates your mind's decisions into physical action. In other words, it takes the higher vibratory energy of your thoughts and downsteps your thoughts into the neuronal and neurological tracks, into the brain's wiring, the hardware, so that your thoughts can be processed into action. Thus, if you want to change certain unresourceful and limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs, you must rewire certain neural tracks in the brain. How does one do that? In exactly the same fashion that you laid down the tracks in the first place, by using self-talk, or more specifically, affirmations. An affirmation is a statement of fact or belief, positive or negative, that will lead you toward the end result you expect. Anything that follows I am, such as I am lousy at math, I'm well organized, is an affirmation. The power of affirmations has been acknowledged almost since the beginning of recorded history. 3,000 years ago, King Solomon said, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is." St. Paul admonished his followers, "Transform yourself by the daily renewing of your mind." Buddha frequently proclaimed, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought." Golfer Johnny Miller was observed taking a piece of paper out of his pocket and studying it intently as he walked to the next hole. What was on that paper? What did he keep repeating to himself? "I keep my head still. Take the club back slowly." When questioned, Miller responded, "If you keep feeding things to the brain over and over, it remembers and transfers them to the body." Thus, self-talk or affirmations are bursts of psychic energy that program our brain and create new beliefs, which, with repetition, become habits, that is, subconscious. In other words, we create our habits and then they take over and create us. The simplicity of the affirmation has frequently caused it to be overlooked, but today, affirmations are being used by persons with health problems, professional athletes, successful salespersons, all types of business persons, and so on. You will be asked to create new affirmations around the beliefs that you have identified as being limiters in your life. The two key elements of an affirmation are 1. Formulating the suggestion you wish to program into your brain, and 2. Repetition. Basic to formulating the new suggestion is that your affirmation is short and to the point, simple enough that a 5 or 6-year-old child will understand it, and that your affirmation is always stated in the positive. For example, when working with a patient who had a series of unsuccessful relationships and romantic disappointments, she uncovered the self-esteem belief, "I am unworthy of love. I don't deserve love." The wrong way to rephrase her new belief was, "I am not unworthy of love." The right way to state her affirmation was, "I am worthy of love. I am loved." Short, sweet, and to the point. No big fancy words or sentences. As you can see, all new beliefs are stated in the present as if they have already happened. Why is this so? It is based on a series of psychological studies at Harvard, now referred to as the theory of cognitive dissonance. What this theory states is that if a person holds two psychologically inconsistent thoughts, they will experience dissonance or a sense of unharmonious, displeasing feelings. Since dissonance is an unpleasant feeling state, the person will attempt to reduce the conflicting feelings, much as they would drives like hunger and thirst. For example, if one were affirming to lose weight, "I look good and feel good at 165 pounds, but in reality weighed 205 pounds, this creates a dissonance in the subconscious. Thus, the subconscious, in order to reduce the discomfort of conflicting messages, will do everything in its power to create the most recently imposed affirmation or self-talk. "I look good and feel good at 165 pounds. As I will be explaining shortly, with daily repetition, new mental software, new neurological grooves will erase and replace the old, thus facilitating your new health goal. Since an affirmation is a statement of intent, it becomes an order, a command to your mind or psyche that an old, limiting belief is to be discarded in favor of a more positive, self-affirming belief. The two key elements of any self-talk or affirmations are formulating or specifying the new belief and repetition to create new neurological tracks. Before beginning to visualize your future and the dreams that you desire, you must begin with the basics. Identify the areas of your life which are not working to your satisfaction. Write out the affirmations which will create new electrochemical networks and begin reprogramming. How? The best way of all is to do this process sitting upright in a comfortable chair. Close your eyes and take 1 to 2 minutes to progressively relax yourself. Then, do whatever works best for you to take yourself into an even deeper and more relaxed state so that you can help release your body's tight, sharp focus on the physical world. This helps free up more energy for mental work and programming. Most important is that your affirmations should be spoken aloud, and each affirmation should be repeated from 5 to 20 times, depending on your time considerations and the number of beliefs you will be reprogramming. I am certain that some of you listening to this program have already self-talked aloud. That seems awkward. I have always done my inner work silently. Won't that interfere with my relaxation? The reason for speaking your affirmations aloud is that you are downstepping your thoughts to the brain's electrical networks, to speech, and you are involving more of your brain by involving 2 more of your senses, auditory and kinesthetic. I recently experienced recurring speed bumps in 2 areas of my life that I thought I had worked through. What did I do? First, I used the corridor of beliefs imagery technique to identify what set up the recurring themes of blockages and detours in my programming. Next, I sat down and carefully wrote out the affirmations and reworked them to my satisfaction. I meditate for 15 to 20 minutes every day, and at the end of my meditation, I repeated each affirmation out loud for approximately 12 to 16 times, then on to the next one until I finished, which added no more than 3 or 4 minutes to my meditation time. I did this for 1 month, but began to notice changes after 10 to 12 days of daily affirming. The changes were very subtle at first. I noticed that the ineffective or negative outcomes to my affirmations theme became fewer, more important. I began to notice that the themes of my affirmations, my desired outcomes, began increasing. How did I and how will you determine if your affirmation is working? Simple. Note your body's reaction every time you repeat the affirmation. You will notice a certain resonance, a feeling, a tingle that reinforces the idea that you are on the right track. In Western culture, the mind has been divorced from the body, and the ongoing feedback between mind and body has been lost. While your affirmations may contravene or be in conflict with the brain's comfortable grooved wiring, the brain may initially struggle to process it. That underscores the importance of daily repetition, and within the first week or two, you will feel a shift, like a bit of sunlight in a room that has been dark for years, signaling that the process is working. One very important point about the process: when a farmer plants a corn crop in his field, he doesn't go out every second day or so and pull up the corn to see if it's growing. The same applies here. If through worry or self-doubt, you check daily to see if your reprogramming affirmations are working, what does that convey to your subconscious but worry? And an underlying worry means lacking full confidence in the process and the belief that what you desire may not come to pass or the affirmation may not succeed. So, don't pull up the corn. Leave it alone and convey the sense of trust in the process and in yourself that success is on the way. I would like to take a few moments to provide you with sample affirmations that have been highly successful for persons who have reprogrammed new beliefs. I will provide these key seeds of thought for different areas of your life so that you can use the following affirmations or change them in some fashion to meet your specific needs. In the area of self-esteem, 1. I am influenced only by positive thoughts and positive people. 2. I am loved. I deserve love. 3. New opportunities stimulate my strengths and confidence. 4. All childhood and teenage wounds are healed. 5. I am continually discovering new strengths inside myself. 6. I radiate confidence and joy. With respect to monetary and financial success, I have used the following affirmations. 1. I am allowing greater financial success into my life. 2. I am attracting more financial opportunities easily and effortlessly. 3. I am worthy and deserving of financial success. 4. My self-talk reinforces prosperity consciousness. 5. I am financially independent and secure. 6. My unlimited thinking is opening new doors to abundance and prosperity. Complementing self-confidence are affirmations for developing a winning attitude. 1. My greatest joy is living up to my own potential. 2. I am choosing to be happy, healthy, and successful. 3. I renew myself daily with the joy of life. 4. Each challenge I face stimulates my strengths and confidence. 5. Setting goals and achieving them is becoming a way of life for me. 6. I successfully finish all projects that I begin. If you are like 85% of the population whose stress levels are higher than they should be, the following affirmations will be of great benefit to you. 1. I am increasingly calm, confident, and relaxed. 2. I am developing inner peace and balance in my life. 3. I have released any concerns about things I cannot change. 4. Any tension I experience mobilizes my strengths and ability to cope. 5. I am at peace in my body, my mind, my emotions. And 6. There is time and space for everything I need to do. And one more series of examples for goal setting. 1. I am very clear about what I want in life. 2. I am living my life by choice and creating my future. 3. My life is becoming a series of positive achievements. 4. My self-discipline and inner focus are becoming stronger each day. 5. I have moved beyond old limitations and am easily achieving my goals. And 6. Each goal I achieve stimulates my optimism and confidence. As you have noticed, some of my affirmations have ing words: becoming, achieving, developing. I intersperse ing words or participles, which are action-oriented, with the past tense as if it has already happened. There is a substantial body of research by cognitive psychologists to support both ways of programming, that is, becoming and completed. Try both approaches and see what feedback your body provides you with, and then create your affirmations accordingly. Incidentally, most bookstores now carry a series of affirmation books, which you may wish to consult in order to build up your personal bank of affirmations for future use. One last comment on erasing old limiting beliefs and reprogramming new outcomes in your life. This is a technique that comes from one of the earliest yoga texts 1,800 years ago and keeps reappearing in some of the metaphysical literature. After you have relaxed yourself in preparation for doing your affirmations out loud, as you inhale, silently think or repeat your affirmation to yourself. As you exhale, say it out loud. Inhale, think it. Exhale, express or verbalize it. The rationale behind this subtle approach is that as you inhale and think the affirmation, you are owning it and taking it in, inspiring it with your breath into your total being. As you exhale, say it aloud, which helps rewire the neural tracks of your brain. Again, this is a very old, time-honored, subtle, but very, very powerful process. I would like you to take some time and think about 3 or 4 goals or dreams that you would like to achieve. Be sure to write them down so that you can crystallize your focus and the end goal image you would like to achieve. Many of the participants in my seminars find it very helpful if they sketch their goal on a blank sheet of paper. While we will be going into a great deal more detail in a subsequent session on how to program and visualize your goals, the purpose here is to help you pull the drawstring tighter and begin your goal-setting process with the broad strokes of the brush. For example, in a recent workshop, one person drew the following goals for himself: a dream house with a dream view overlooking the ocean in West Vancouver. His second goal was sketching out his new office in a new building, his partners and he with broad smiles on their faces, and a bar graph hanging on the wall depicting $1.6 million revenue for that fiscal year. A third drawing depicted a Caribbean cruise ship, he and his wife beaming with joy on the deck. This represented a second honeymoon that had been delayed far too many times. The final drawing was of himself in a yoga class doing a difficult stretch in order to correct a lingering upper back problem caused by muscle spasms. Before proceeding with the visualization training, I had him and the other seminar participants consider the following questions about each of their desired outcomes. 1. Why do I want this dream or goal to manifest? The answer should not deal with the why as an explanation, but the why as a motivation. Next, what does your past say about this issue? In other words, is there a part of your inner child or inner adolescent that has lingering feelings about being successful or deserving, say, lots of money? What about any lingering fears around success issues? Some people can still hear the echoes or whispers of their parents who said, "You're expecting too much. You haven't worked hard enough. Therefore, you don't deserve it. Nothing comes easy." And of course, we cannot overlook the collective unconscious or the societal and cultural trance. Beliefs like, there isn't as much disposable income anymore, the recession is going to cut out sales by 50%, this is a bad housing market, no one is buying. Indeed, this can influence one's expectations and ultimate outcome. Once you quickly process some of these issues around motivation, you are ready to align these interlocking energies or resonances of desire, expectation, imagination, thoughts, and beliefs to create the optimal direction and focus with hopefully all the potential cross-currents or blockages cleared away. Thus, the first tool of change or manifestation is self-talk or affirmations, and the second tool is visualization or a consciously constructed dream in which your waking mind directs the action. Imaging a desired outcome, therefore, imprints your desired future event onto your psyche and mind. Following are 4 visualization techniques that I would like you to experiment with and get a feeling for. Be sure to try them all, as it is important to connect with a technique that you feel both comfortable with and that elicits a sense of confidence. Yes, this is what works best for me. The first technique is called Future Past Programming. If you want something within a certain time limit, for example, being appointed sales manager by a certain date in the future, say January 1st, visualize your desired outcome and having it by that date. However, and this is a most important point, always begin each imaging sequence with feelings, with emotional intensity. How will you feel upon your appointment as sales manager? Joy? Excitement? A mellow kind of inner satisfaction? Whatever the feeling, allow your emotional intensity to become the background music of your dream. If, for example, you are visualizing purchasing a new home, don't simply see the house, but start with your response to moving in, the joy and pride of showing it to your friends. Let this emotional intensity consume you. Keep the emotional intensity while you program or visualize the details of your new home or job. For example, seeing, reading, touching the letter that appoints you a sales manager, hearing the soft rustle of the paper. Then bring in all 5 senses and program that image with gusto for approximately 30 seconds. Then go back into your past and recreate the events that would support the achievement of your goal. If you are programming a sales manager goal, go back in time and visualize yourself preparing for that outcome by joining, for example, Toastmasters or taking a course on public speaking so you will be a more effective sales trainer. You might also include having achieved a certain sales goal within the company that would make you eligible for that promotion. In other words, recreate a past that would be compatible with your desired future. Then, project yourself into the future 6 months or so after you have become sales manager or purchased your new home. Visualize that scenario in great detail. What has it been like having 30 salespersons under your direction? What new policy changes or training procedures have you implemented? What about the extra income that came with your promotion? What have you done with that increased financial freedom? What you are doing by visualizing your desired goal is setting up a series of interlocking events or resonances that all flow together and make sense to your subconscious. After all, what is the subconscious but a resonance, a particular vibratory frequency in which information is stored? While the first technique involves multiple time programming, the second technique involves multiple space programming. As with all imagery work, start with the background music, the emotional intensity of the feelings associated with achieving your goal, then sense your desired outcome through the camera lenses of your eyes, being inside your new sales manager's office, amplifying the details, objects on your desk, the feel of your chair against the body, paintings or photographs on your wall, along with award certificates of achievement, such as sales courses you have completed, perhaps a stack of messages on your desk, a calendar designating the month and year by which you will have attained your goal. Stitch in all the details you can imagine. Then pop outside of your body and look at yourself from a different perspective, perhaps behind and above your desk. Back into your body, step out again, but change the angle and perspective, above and in front of yourself, but 30 to 40 degrees off to one side. Keep changing perspectives, angles, spatial orientation, and then swoop into your body again to look through your eyes. What you are doing in this multiple spatial approach is activating different neural pathways in the brain to reinforce the perception of depth and realness to your total being. Again, practice this technique with gusto and enthusiasm, but limiting your total programming time to about 30 seconds. The third technique, multiple energy programming, is also similar to an earlier technique described as multifocus. Select an end goal picture of what you want. Start with the background tones of your feelings, which will yeast and intensify the mental picture. Then project a beam of energy from your forehead 6 to 8 feet in front of you. Project a second beam of energy or light from your heart, projecting the same image and overlapping with the first, followed by a third beam of energy from your solar plexus, overlapping with the first two images. Then, intensify the 3 beams of energy and end goal picture into a highly compressed, holographic 3D image. For the next 30 seconds, with gusto and joy, program from your mind, your heart, and your solar plexus, or power center of your body, so that you are imaging and visualizing from 3 different energy sources within you. This is also a technique that has been described in early Tibetan and yoga texts, a most powerful process. The fourth and final visualization technique is the simplest and is called the snapshot technique. Select a single scenario or scene of what you want. Keep it simple and decide whether you want it to be a snapshot, like a Polaroid, or an action sequence, like you would take with a video camera. Once you decide, do not change the image. Start with the emotions of success, joy, happiness, inner peace. Then, with gusto, stitch in the details and surge the image into your subconscious for 30 seconds. As you pour it on, or I should say pour it in, you are laying new neurological tracks, creating new expectancies, and mobilizing the resources of your subconscious to bring that image into fruition. In bringing this section to a close, there is no need to remind you that this is a very important session or link to the sequencing of successful visualizing. Old, unresourceful beliefs must be dissolved. New, empowering beliefs will replace them through repetition. Once you have built your foundation, that is, the new neural networks in your brain, then you can begin dreaming your future through a series of waking dream vignettes. Be sure to do your homework. Once you refine your tools and processes through practice, then you are well on your way to mobilizing the greatest asset you have, your mind and your imagination. In the next session, you will be shown how to create a spiral of success in every area of your life, learning how to manifest a series of brilliant futures.